Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Jupiter in the second house episode. So, what happens when Jupiter is in your second house in your horoscope? Well, first of all, what is second house? Second house is speech, your ability to speak, what kind of speaking ability you have, ill, good, average, okay? It represents your family lineage, your family history, okay? Represents your family's assets, represents your savings, okay? Second house also represents love for singing and poetry, and so this is second house. And then you bring in Jupiter into this, the wisdom, believer, optimistic planet, sometimes overly optimistic, ones who governs all the basic necessities in your life, okay? It's knowledge. And so when Jupiter comes here, this is actually one of very complex places for Jupiter to be in. Because first of all, second house is known as the Marka house. Marka meaning death inflicting house. Because your death is dependent upon second, seventh, and eighth house. So this is why they call the Marka house. So when Jupiter comes here, and if it's not in his own sign or excelled, and if he's in like debilitated average signs, friendly signs, then it kind of becomes a bit of a confusing place for Jupiter to be in the second house. Here, first of all, Jupiter gives you a pleasant speech. It gives you a very dignified ability to speak. And since Jupiter is the guru or a teacher or a preacher, whenever you speak, you will always speak about teaching something to others. Whenever you have a conversation, you will always try to instill some sort of a wisdom in others. You will try to invoke some sort of a belief in others. So that's then this also makes a person a very great public speaker. Because Guru has a bit of authority. You know, when a teacher speaks, student listen. This is the same thing that happens here. Whenever Jupiter speaks, people listen. Jupiter here also makes a person a very good writer. But Jupiter, what it does, it kind of inflates everything. So when people say Jupiter in the second house is great for wealth, it's inflating wealth, it's kind of not true. Jupiter in the second house inflates your image. That makes people think you are very rich, you're very wealthy, while you might be living an average lifestyle or below average lifestyle. But what Jupiter does, it inflates that. But Jupiter is not really happy here because it is a house of his enemy Venus, and it's also a Marka house, meaning death inflicting house. So this doesn't mean you're gonna die if you have Jupiter in the second house. Billions of people, millions might have it. It simply means it is making Jupiter feel very uncomfortable. See, Jupiter is a teacher. He wants to be in pleasant places. He wants to be in the places where knowledge and wisdom is excelled, like the first, fifth, and ninth house. Second house is about material gains. And Jupiter, even though he's a significator of it, he doesn't want to be here. Now, like I said, Jupiter is a significator of the second house. It's a significator of the second, fifth, ninth, and 11th house. But here, what Jupiter is known as a Karnash Bhava. It's a term, meaning that whenever a significator of a certain house sits in its own house that it signifies, it damages that house. So like if Saturn is in the significator of 8th house, and if he sits there, he's damaging that, which is not true, okay? But with Jupiter, this is the only position that kind of holds some truth about significator of a certain house giving kind of negative results. Why Jupiter doesn't damage the significance of the 5th, 9th, 11th house while he's a significator of that? Okay, think about it. Again, Marka house. Jupiter doesn't want to sit there. He doesn't want to be, dealing with things that are going to drain the teacher's energy. That's all it simply means. Your energy is being drained a lot in life. Okay. So here Jupiter, if he's excelled or if he's in his own sign of Sagittarius and Pisces, yes, he's actually a lord of this house now. He has to control and give good results to this house. So he does. So people who have this have tremendous money. But here, Jupiter feels more valuable about knowledge. Jupiter feels that he's rich, and Jupiter feels that the more wisdom I have, the more knowledge I have, the more enriched I'll feel. So that's what really means Jupiter in the second house. Meaning that inflating of knowledge, inflation of wisdom, of the family history, family lineage. You carry on the torch of family lineage. Okay? Your voice becomes of a preacher, somebody who knows the wisdom of life. You speak the honest truth. Now, if it's debilitated, you will boost a lot about your stuff, but it may not be true. You will tell people you're rich. You may rent some nice car to go to parties, and people might think, oh, he's rich, but inside he's like bankrupt. That's what debilitated Jupiter does. Okay, but here Jupiter really values the family history and knowledge that he acquires than money, because you become really optimistic in life. You think, oh, money will come. It always comes easily to me. And so what he does here, he keeps giving you a little bit of money just to keep yourself going. But again, 11th house has to be seen. Other houses, what sign, what nakshatra he's sitting in, also makes a big difference into Jupiter's situation. If he's in conjunction with some other planet, makes a difference. Okay, so even if Jupiter is in some medium sign in the second house, can give a lot of money, depending upon how strong he is in that house. Then from second house of speech, second house, he aspects the sixth house of diseases, enemies, litigation, obstacles. So here Jupiter puts optimism into those things. Like these people will actually overcome their enemies through optimism. They will overcome diseases through optimism. Now, unless he is debilitated, then what's going to happen, you're going to project a false notion on yourself that, oh yeah, I'm winning against my enemies. I'm overcoming my diseases, even though you're not. So debilitated Jupiter will do that, gives you false sense of hope. But here, he will overcome most of the time your enemies. But if he's lord of that house, if he's ruling the Sagittarius or Pisces in the sixth house and then in the second house, then it can incur debt. Your wealth will be built from debt. Okay. Then Jupiter looks at the eighth house of underground knowledge, hidden knowledge, occult knowledge. So Jupiter in the second house has interest of the occult, astrology, witchcraft, black magic, white magic, any kind of things that is paranormal, any kind of things that are just hidden from the grasp or boundaries of societies. Jupiter wants to extract that, wants to learn that knowledge and do public speaking about it. And also, since 8th house represents your family assets with your wife, or your joint assets with wife, or any kind of support from your in-laws, Jupiter being a second house helps you a lot with that. It gives you a wife that will bring a lot of assets to you, in-laws that will be very helpful to you. Because remember, even though Jupiter is in the Marka house, he still wants to spread his optimism. Okay, he still wants to bring in all the good things in life, for no matter how bad his situation is. But just in certain situation, like if he's debilitated and looking at it, he may give a false sense of security through in-laws and wife assets. Like you think wife assets is there, but when you need it, they won't be there. So that's what Jupiter does in the second house when it's debilitated. And this entire reading that I'm doing is same thing for retrograde Jupiter as well. Same thing, okay? The only thing is it's just they go back and they try to learn more lessons versus the other normal unretrograde Jupiter. Then Jupiter looks at the 10th house of career from the second house. So here what Jupiter does, anything related to Jupiter, which is teaching, preaching, writing, public speaking, especially banking, law, can be seen, but more so of a family business. Family business would be very helpful. You will make money through your enemies. Why? Because Jupiter aspect is on the sixth house of enemies, and through the sixth house, he looks at the 10th house. That's how it kind of works. So your money will be made through enemies. Your enemies will help you make money. Like, let's say you are a movie star, and a lot of people hate you. Your close friends hate you, people out there in the world hate you. Yet when they're watching your movies on TV or in a theater, they're paying money. You're getting paid because they're viewing you through advertisement. So that's what it means that you make money through your enemies. But the way you overcome your enemies is through your wisdom and knowledge. So if somebody comes and hits you, you will put some wisdom in them that they will back off. So here Jupiter, makes things a lot easier in terms of the sixth house. But the 10th house, always you're going to end up being some sort of a preacher, public speaker, an author that has some sort of a wisdom to give in their books. So that's what Jupiter does when he looks at the 10th house from the second house. But, business is a great avenue also with Jupiter in the second house. So guys, this was my interpretation of Jupiter in the second house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe above. Because I'll be doing a lot more of this stuff. Maybe your Jupiter is next. And if you want to know where your Jupiter is placed, so you can look out for these series and learn more about the true astrology, check out the link below. Check out my book there, Astrology at the Speed of Light. And when you get the book, I will send you the link to look at your own chart so you can study it, and you can come back to my channel and analyze the entire thing so you can know thyself. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.